What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Karen Oliver, and welcome to Inside HQ. We're coming to you straight from World of Dance headquarters, but this podcast isn't about what goes on inside of these walls. It's about the amazing people on the outside who are building the movement, shaping the culture, and keeping the community alive. I am so excited to introduce today's guest, the one and only Will Johnston. Yeah!
I love that intro.
Yeah. I might have worked on it a few times. It's not like it's my job.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Will and I know each other. Will has been an amazing mentor throughout the years. This is so full circle for us. I was literally texting him yesterday, and I was like, I can't believe that this is happening.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I'm also equally so excited to be here, and I love seeing what you're doing here. So good.
Amazing. Will has a couple credits that are necessary to mention. Will is not only the co-founder and co-director of Entity Contemporary Dance, which if you don't know what that is, look it up. You should know that. It is one of the most amazing contemporary companies I have ever had the pleasure of watching, and your work is so amazing. I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Will is also an instructor at Movement Lifestyle. He's also on faculty for West Coast Dance Explosion. He also has some amazing credits, including So You Think You Can Dance, Glee, Rita Ora, Katy Perry, Kelly Clarkson, Olivia Rodrigo, Sonlux, Khalid, missing a bunch. There's so many of them. So many of them. So obviously, not only does your work encompass the concert realm, the instructor realm, but also you have had ample experience in the industry, which is just absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so excited to get into it.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get us started, your movement obviously encompasses both the dance industry and the concert world, even the community side at times. What was the kind of defining moment that got you into movement?
Oh my goodness. Quite literally, I was put into it because my sister was dancing. I don't ever remember expressing that I wanted to do it. I think I was put into it recreationally, and I started when I was 4. So I did like combo classes, for anyone who knows what that is, like in studio days. You would like have a 45-minute class or an hour class, and it'd be split by 2 different styles. Very recreational, and I probably did that recreational type of training up until 7th grade, and then started taking it more seriously. But that's how I got into it. I really don't remember saying I want to do this, which is kind of interesting how it's found its way into like all of my life at this point. But yeah, that's how I got started. I was just plucked into it. And
then from there, what was the moment where you really knew that dance was going to be not only like a passion that you really enjoyed, but very much a career choice and something that you wanted to pursue for the rest of your life?
That is the best question, because I think a lot of people also try so hard to like cement the trajectory of this field, and because our work as a dancer is so non-linear, and our trajectory in the field is also so non-linear, meaning like there's not a clear step and ladder on like, okay, if I do this, I'll get here. If I do this, I'll get here. So I say that because it was really hard for me to even see the potential of what my career could have been. And with that said, I never really noticed a moment where I was like, okay, now my career is going to be dance. It like kind of unfolded without me realizing it. And I still to this day sometimes find myself like, oh, that just happened. I didn't even realize that was going to be a thing. So my only like real goal in this work is to just always stay active, because I know that like momentum will create opportunity, but in terms of like seeing a destination, like that's really hard for me to do. And it's an interesting field in that sort of sense.
That is a very interesting answer. I feel like most of the time when I ask this kind of question, a lot of the answers are like, oh, I was 7 and I went to watch the ballet, and I knew that I wanted to put those point shoes on.
Yeah. Oh no, I never had that. I will say that. I really was obsessed with Britney Spears and like I loved the movement behind that, but I still don't ever remember being like, that's what I want to do. Right. I just remember being like, oh, whoa, this is really cool. And I love these moves, but I don't ever remember feeling like that with a lot of different stuff when I was younger. But yeah, that's a really interesting thing. I mean, I went to school for engineering. That's what I wanted to do. My whole life growing up, I wanted to design roller coasters. And I always danced at the same time. So I double majored, and I'm sure we'll get into this later, but I double majored in my undergraduate collegiate experience in mechanical engineering. And then I did a BFA in choreography and a BFA in dance performance.
So three.
And all I ever want, well, the BFAs like have a lot of crossover, but I did both of them. So like I really wanted to be an engineer. That's what I saw happening. And then before I knew it, while trying to complete that degree, those degrees, I had already done a couple jobs as a dancer. And then I got a scholarship to go to grad school for dance. So then it kind of like, again, without me even realizing it, sort of like unfolded underneath me. But I really credit that to just staying active and being momentous with the craft, even though I didn't really have a clear destination. And I think a lot of people are probably especially like at 18 when you graduate high school, you have this like pressure that you have to know exactly what you want to do. And you don't have to. Like, in my opinion, there doesn't have to be this clear-cut destination to find success. But I do think even when you don't have a destination, or you don't have an exact idea of what you want to do, being momentous in something and creating activity in your life, no matter what it is, I think is the best way to reach somewhere. Because I think finding success and finding some sort of destination will come from just doing something rather than doing nothing. But I really am honest when I'm like, I never was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And still to this day, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that even you graduate college and you're still like, I have no idea what I want to do. Me, Exhibit A. But yeah, it's very much, I think, something that you find as it comes. Yeah. It's very much a beautiful approach to the art form when it just comes naturally as well. Also, a triple major. Yeah. I am speechless. I have heard of a double major. I pursued one myself, but a triple major is absolutely insanity.
It was crazy. I will say though, like the BFAs, dance performance and dance choreography had a lot of overlap. Okay. Engineering and dance is almost zero. But I really wanted to do the choreography one, and because I was doing choreography, I think I had to take like 2 more classes to get the performance. So I was like, let's do it. And I think at that time, undergraduate, I'm 38 now, so this was 2005 to 2010. 5 years, summer school, every summer. It was like nonstop. Wow. But I was like, I loved it. Like I didn't have a lot of like input in high school, and so getting to college was like, there are so many new things I'm learning, and I'm around all these new people, so the environment was just so conducive for like work. Yeah. And I really loved it. I mean, it was tiring, and I will say, like, I don't know if I got the full amount out of everything I did because I was doing so much. I don't regret it, but in terms of like commitment, I think that everything I did took a little bit of a hit because there was so much. So when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, maybe like a couple less things would have been beneficial to actually gaining some substance from these studies. And we probably all encounter that at certain points in time. But yeah, it was busy. Busy. Especially when you're doing 2 very, very different fields that don't really intertwine whatsoever. I feel like I really resonate with that in my own experience. Like at times I felt like, oh, my business degree, I could have really pursued so many other fields within business if I didn't have all of this on this side. And same thing with dance. Like there was a lot of things that I couldn't pursue because I really had to lock into the business major as well at the same time. But it's like there we have 4 to 5 years, however long it takes. It's like, and every year it costs a little bit more. Not a little bit. Every year it costs a lot more. So it's like you gotta get in there and get out. But, so it's, at the same time, it's like we're trying to do the most we can in that amount of time.
Absolutely.
And there's no other time in my life where I think I will have that sort of conditioning for that amount of work. Like you're 18, 19, 20, 21. I mean, fresh. Now these days I'm like, no, too much.
Absolutely not.
But it's a beautiful time in your life. So I feel like, and it doesn't have to be within college, but I think when you feel like you have the momentum, the drive, and the conditioning to like do a lot, I do it, because it'll be a time in your life where you're like not into it, But I feel like in that time I look back, I'm like, I'm glad I did. I would have did it a little different, but no regrets.
It's so funny that we're getting into kind of that conversation of college, because really I wasn't planning on diving that deep into it. But for those of you that don't know, because you definitely don't know that, but I actually learned from Will Johnston for the longest time because he was my professor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chapman,
yes. And it was, honestly, your skills as an instructor are absolutely incredible. I believe that the short, what was it, like 2 years, maybe like a year and a half?
Yeah, I think I was there for 9 years, but I stopped 2 years ago.
Right.
I think something like that. Yeah, maybe 2.5 years ago.
So I think I got you for like maybe like a year and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
But really within that short period, I really felt like I grew so much as an artist and a dancer, performer, all of the above.
Even in a year, we see each other a lot. Like just for one class, I mean, every week, 2 times a week.
Yeah.
Relative to normal training in LA, if it's just one class, it's like it's a really good amount of time.
Yeah, and it was just, I remember very much an introduction for kind of that choreographic process for myself as well, because I was so inspired by everything you did. And with that, let's talk a little bit about your choreographic process and how you find yourself in these spaces and how you find that inspiration to create everything that you do. Because also, you guys don't know this, but Will choreographs so much for Entity all the time, and you also choreograph at the studio level and at the collegiate level and everywhere, and at the industry level, and just so many spaces in the dance world that you are able to kind of put choreographic work out. So it's really interesting to me for you to share the process.
Yeah, I think it depends on the venue and it depends on the project. It changes so much. A big component of my inspiration comes from like my physical abilities in the moment. I am just someone who likes to be able to do the movement and feel it as I said it. So usually if I can't do it, it won't be a part of my vocabulary usually. And so that shifts every year. As I get older, the physicality of my body changes a lot. I'm not as mobile as I used to be. I don't have an interest in jumping a lot anymore. I like look back in the day, like when I was in my 20s, early 20s, it's like, it's such a different movement. Stylistically, it still has this the same sort of influence that I've had, my entire life, but the physicality of it is very different because my body is changing. And so when I make something nowadays, I'm like, no, I have zero interest in jumping. I have zero interest in throwing my leg like as high as I feel like I want. So the movement changes, and my desires to explore different pathways and textures change with that. So a big point of inspiration is like really listening to my body and letting my creative like influence adjust and fluctuate accordingly. So that's one thing. It's like, what feels good now, and I like that because inevitably my stuff changes over time. And there are certain projects that it's like being able to see the things you can't do is really important, and that happens also. But that's my favorite thing, is to listen to my body. The other thing that I really try to listen to these days is just the idea of yes. I love editing. I love editing more and revision more than I like actually making up something from scratch. There's just something fun in seeing an idea in its entirety and then being able to go in there and manipulate and change and vary. I love that process, and I find that 99% of the times the revised versions of an initial idea are way more interesting and satisfying and effective for me personally. So getting into that, it's like saying yes to all opportunities, not getting married to the initial idea of something and falling in love with editing. Like really those two things, like when I think about what inspires me in this moment, creatively in terms of process, yes to the ideas, editing the ideas, listening to my body and what it physically can do at this point in time in my life. And that'll change next year and the year after and the next 5 years. Yeah.
I absolutely feel that. I mean, I was kind of like laughing in my head when you were saying like, oh, I don't really have an interest for jumping or throwing my leg. No, I don't either.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like my body is still very much able to do that. But even when I am choreographing, I feel like a lot of the time I just really have no interest in that. And then I think sometimes it's just like my mind is more like, okay, we need to add this in, maybe potentially.
Yeah. The strategy starts to marry the intuition a little bit.
Exactly.
And those two things are so different, like what feels intuitive and then what feels more like strategic or calculated. And the process can involve both of those. I think it's a beautiful thing when you can marry strategy and intuition, the things that come organically and then the things that feel a little bit more calculated and like formulaic, you know. Those two things together sometimes create really awesome ideas.
Absolutely. With your creative process, obviously you continue to create every single year and at very high volumes as well. What is kind of like that thing that keeps the creative drive going for you?
Oh, some days it's not there, like fully not there. And actually this idea of like strategy and intuition is really important because the drive to go or like what inspires me changes, and sometimes it's something random that comes up. I think we've all encountered that where it's like some days you just don't want to do it. Dance is so hard, so you have to mentally get yourself going creatively but also physically, and like it's hard, it's so hard. But the reality is it's my job, it's our job, and some days you have to be able to make something. So that's to me when strategy and technique of creating is so important. It's like the days that I know it's not spilling out of my body, but I know how to technically make up moves. You know, it's like, am I using my full spectrum of textures? Let's really understand that you know, for something effective dynamically, for me, we're going to have to incorporate pause and isolation, but also flow and continuity. So like, that's so strategic. So it's like, okay, what moments do I need to prioritize a little bit more pause? Let's focus on that. So I feel like, you know, like, I think being able to have a technical mindset when it comes to creating helps keep momentum in that realm if it feels like some days it's too hard. That was like such a roundabout answer of saying like, I don't know, some days I don't have it. And so when I don't have the drive or the inspiration's not coming, I go to strategy. And then I think like any artist, like the days that it does come, I don't know why. Like some days it feels like it spills out your body. Maybe it's a specific kind of music. Maybe it's something someone said to you the day before. Maybe it's something you ate. Like I don't know like some of the days why it happens that way. It's just like the perfect combination of like mindset and external influence that just it happens, you know. But when it does happen like that, you just like try to grab it and make something, you know. But it's okay. It's like it's not realistic to demand or expect our brains and our bodies to like spill out genuine inspiration every single day. It's just like not, you know. And then even if it did, it would become mundane. So I'm okay with the oscillation. I'm okay that some days it doesn't feel like it's there, because then when it does, it feels that much more like potent and exciting. But be patient with yourself too, because it's frustrating. All of us want to feel that genuine like, oh my gosh, today I just like, oh, I want to move, I want to make something that's spilling out of me. But patient with yourself and understand that it will come back, you know. Absolutely. And even there's been a conversation that's kind of been ongoing with every episode that we've had so far, but a lot of people have been talking about just the attention span and what is social media and creating for social media and the constant content that comes your way, especially in the dance world, and there's kind of like that expectation that you should be pushing out content and choreography at the speed of light, and that is why it's even hard to like
stop and watch a concert video in its entirety instead of just watching the first
Oh, yeah.
16 seconds of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I totally agree. And I think it's such good practice to be able to do things quick like that.
Yeah.
Especially like in some of the situations choreographically that I worked in before, sometimes like you'll get into a situation where it's like, this is completely different space or environment than we were rehearsing in. And to make those choices fast and then be able to then deliver them really concisely and clearly to the dancers so that when you go and do the next take, it's clear. That's such, I will forever think of a skill set being able to do things fast and get the attention quick.
Right.
But it's not for everything. And so you're so right. Like Entity, we do evening length works where our shows are like an hour, 15 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes, whatever it may be. But it's like taking time to let something develop, you know?
Yeah.
That's why we love like movies, is because it's like, it's a narrative and it evolves over time. We don't go to the theater and watch something for 15 seconds.
Right.
So we love these and they work really well in certain situations. And then in other situations, like time and energy and letting things permeate out over a long time proves to be more successful. So it just depends. But be able to, in my head, I want to be able to do both, you know, and I appreciate elements of both for sure. Yeah.
That's super important. And going back to Entity Contemporary Dance, and you mentioned that you guys do have your evening length works. Can we go back to the beginning of Entity Contemporary Dance? You are a co-founder with Marissa Osato. Big fan.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk us through how it came about?
Yeah, so we actually, and you mentioned this too, our influence came from the community. We started in the, if you are watching WOD, you understand what the community is, but the Southern California hip-hop community is something we were born in. Even though we're a contemporary company, we all did the collegiate level hip-hop team. So we had members from, I did CADC when I was in college. We had Cabo Modern, Common Ground, PAC. Like there's a ton of different teams that people danced on that then came to Entity. And there's this beautiful organization founded by Elm Pizarro called Boogie Zone. And Boogie Zone had physical representations of the company in the form of community classes and also dance companies. So there was Breed, which is the hip hop one, Offspring, which was the youth hip hop one, and then Elm presented Marissa and I with Entity, which is the contemporary offset of that. That was 16 years ago. We turned 16 today. Yeah.
Today?
On June 3rd.
Oh, yeah. I was like, today?
Yeah, June 3rd.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. This month. Yeah, and so we have our roots in this community. So for the first 6 years of our existence, we would only do these hip hop community shows. So we've done WOD, we did, oh my gosh, Fusion and Vibe, we did Ultimate Brawl, we did Body Rock. So like a lot of our influence and a lot of our roots are in this community. Yeah. And it's fun now because I don't think many people who probably participate, unless you've been around for a second, know that this was our world. Yeah. And so we got to dance next to some of our favorite people, Choreo Cookies, GRV, DC, Kava, like all of these teams we were presenting work next to. So that's where we really got our roots. Simultaneous with this, so many of the members are doing commercial work also, and also doing concert work here in LA, and also had academic backgrounds in dance. So we had so many influences coming into the room and zero desire to resist those. Whatever influence us, we let happen. So one of the big influences from concert dance and also from academic dance was long form work. That's my biggest exposure to new stuff was in college and long form work. Some of my favorite choreographers that were so influential to me in college are Yuri Killian and William Forsythe. Amazing, iconic work. Some of my favorite stuff is from the 80s. It's unreal. And so we had this desire to, really expand ideas and creatives across a longer period of time. So in 2014, we did our first full evening length work. And since then have presented these works. We've done, I think, oh my gosh, we just did our last one in last September. I think it was our 7th show, but has since presented them in Japan, Hong Kong, and across California. And so it's become something that we really strive for, but it is expensive. We're self-funded, which is beautiful in the sense that we don't adhere to anybody because it's our money, but it's also so hard to raise the funds.
Yeah.
So we have like a super cool sort of like really intertwined history with this
Everything.
community. Yeah. So that's kind of where we are today, really striving for a really solid educational programs in our intensives and producing our evening link works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You mentioned, obviously, everyone comes from all these separate backgrounds and creates just like this conglomeration of like beautiful
hodgepodge, like
literal mixy match moment.
Yeah.
How intentional is the combo of the commercial and the concert and the community, all of that into one, especially when choreographing?
Yeah.
Because for me, like my experience watching your work as Entity, it's very much a noticeable mix and match of all of these worlds, and it doesn't feel too much on the concert side, but it doesn't feel too much on the commercial side.
Yeah.
So how does that, is that intentional when you're choreographing, and how does that come about?
I love this question. It's so good because it's like it's actually a really cool way of asking, like, does this feel purposeful? Like, it's your mission and part of your statement, but are you doing it intentionally? And that answer is like straight up no, only because intentional to me feels like we're strategizing. Okay, do we have enough of this and enough of this? Not at all. Like, it is the most genuine approach. Whatever calls to us, whatever feels good, whatever feels interesting, we go with. Doesn't mean strategy isn't incorporated technically, but not in terms of making sure that we have, because also sometimes these days it's like, what is commercial, what is concert, what is academic, what is like, there's so much fusion happening. We just let ourselves organically flow with what feels most influential, but because there's no restrictions to that, it's hard to say where things come from because we've had so many different influences and experiences. That's why anything we do, I'll credit everything we've done, because it's like, I'm not specifically pulling from this experience or this person. So like our credits go and our influences go deep within so many different pockets of the dance world and so many different eras and so many different people. But I can confidently say that we've never felt purposeful or intentional in trying to find that balance. It just is always that because that's where we've come from.
Absolutely.
If that makes any sense. Yeah.
That makes total sense.
It's such a good question though. And it's fun to ask yourself. And I wouldn't neglect that. I wouldn't neglect ever feeling like, hey, we don't really have a lot of this in here. That just always never feels like it's effective.
Right.
But if it came to a point where someone was like, hey, we want you to create, let's just say hypothetically, the video for this artist, and they really specifically want a real equal influence of let's just use these examples today, concert dance and commercial dance, then maybe in that setting we'd be like, okay, I think naturally we're going to find this match, but let's make sure we're looking at how both of those come together. But yeah, hasn't happened yet. But yeah, it just always feels like it always is a part of what we do anyway, because it's who we are and what we've come from. Yeah.
When you are in that creative process, obviously we've mentioned previously that you are a co-founder and co-director with Marissa. How do you kind of find that artistic vision in a collaboration setting, and how does it always come so cohesively to the audience when it's like a combo of both of you together?
Yeah, it's like we have the longest history. Marissa was literally the first person I feel like I met in college. Like, we had our first modern class together, and we have had super similar experiences in dance and danced with and for very similar people for a really long time. And all that is to say is, like, even as two different individuals with two creative voices that actually, like, 20 years later because this was 2005 that we met, has sort of like done this, but our roots are still so similar and we've worked together so much that it's just part of what we do, and we always listen to each other. Like, it's never combative, and it's never like this is a better option than this, and that's like, to me, the beautiful part about a partnership is like you have to be very deliberate in the collaboration. It's not always going to be your idea, but the more you can say yes to things, the more that partnership really flourishes, and the more you find really interesting perspectives on stuff. Because if I would have just done it myself, it would be something completely different. If Marissa would have done it by herself, it would have been something completely different. So when we really listen to each other, that's when the magic of collaboration happens, because you're actually collaborating. You're saying yes to you.
Yeah.
You're saying yes to me. We're discussing and manipulating together, you know? It's always been so easy, and we're also really close friends.
Right.
And that always makes a process way better, because there's that understanding of each other personally, you know, and you know how to communicate. So partnership takes a long time, whether it's physical contact partnering. I mean, I'm sure like ice skating couples work together for a long time. I don't know why I brought that up. I've never done it, but I can imagine, that partnership, or like ballroom couples that you train together and with each other only.
Absolutely.
I don't know. But in terms of our creative voices, it's taken a lot. It's been a lot of years. So I think we've just found that process together.
Are there moments where you feel like your creative visions kind of clash a little bit when putting something together, or has it become so seamless of a process for you that doesn't really happen?
I will say, like, as time goes on, our instincts sort of are sort of veer from each other, but never clash, because because I know that especially these days, she'll see something that I don't, and vice versa. And so when we say yes to each other, it's like you're saying yes to opportunity and a new idea. It would only clash if we were we were in a no mindset. We're never in a no mindset. It's always yes. And sometimes you question, like, I'm not sure about that. Look, can we look at this? And and then in terms of that, it's a yes. So to me, like, you can avoid clash by having a yes mindset.
Absolutely.
You know? And a lot of the times, like, listening to that is collaboration.
Right.
Is listening and working with each other. But we've always had that. So I think I quite literally have never felt a clash, but we've also never really said like no to things, you know? It's a super healthy, easy, fun relationship.
That's amazing. Especially for like a director role. I think that's like the ideal position to be in, and that really shows why Entity has been around for so long, and why it continues to grow and expand and reach so many people and touch so many people with the artistry that you guys are pushing, and the message that you're trying to portray. With being a director, obviously there are ups and downs. It's a very, very difficult role to fulfill, and again, we were mentioning how difficult it is to be able to share your work wherever you're going, and how expensive that is and everything. Are there any lessons that you feel like you've learned the hard way with being a director?
Learned the hard way. I think it's an interesting question, because I'm like, I love this question also. Like, when I think about learning things the hard way, it's like almost making me feel like, what sort of things do I regret and I would do differently? And I'm really happy with how things have gone, you know? I think, like, as a director, I can tell you what I'm really happy with and that I would never change. And there's a hard part to what I'm about to say, but I wouldn't give it up, because I don't want the other side of things. So to me, like, Entity has some of the best movers, in my opinion, ever. Like, I'm obsessed with how every single person moves and approaches their craft. They're also literally my family, and we've always prioritized not people over artists, but we've always like prioritized, when inviting someone to move with us, that they have a really beautiful like heart to them. And that it says a lot about being able to stay together for 16 years. I mean, we're not paying 6-figure salaries, you know what I'm saying? So it's like people are with us for a lot more than just the money, because it's not a lot. It's just, everyone who knows this, is so hard. And so to me, like, prioritizing family is something that I've always felt so proud of as a director. It's like, I know you can move well, but like we don't connect as people, and that would be somebody that I wouldn't really want to just be in this space.
Absolutely.
You know, and the hard part about that is there even one? I'm like trying to make this a thing. I'm like, I don't know if I've had a hard sort of outlook as a director, you know?
Or maybe let's like rephrase the question
Yeah.
to not necessarily something that you've had to learn the hard way, but maybe it's a big lesson for you that you really were like,
Yeah.
wow, this really changed the way that I approach directing.
Yeah, for sure. Articulation, for sure. Like as somebody leading a room, I can recall certain moments that like are only sticking out to me because I'm thinking of it right now, are moments where I wasn't clear. And I hate that. Like, I want to be able to give you the most information possible so that whatever I'm asking or whatever sort of desire I have is clear for you to then either translate or interpret or just straight up do verbatim in your body as the mover. So like, I always want to be a talker. As a director, I always want to be somebody who can verbalize and speak clearly, eloquently, concisely. Concisely is not always my strong point, but for sure, like that's something I always want to practice and put into my craft, because I don't want there to be more situations where someone's like, wait, what? That isn't, you know what I'm saying? Because then it's like, then no one's getting anywhere. You're just having these two combative sort of mindsets. So I think if you are somebody who has desires to lead the room, it's so much more than making good moves, you know?
Absolutely.
Like you, especially as a career, it's like the craft and the vocabulary and the construction is so important, obviously, but so is your ability to speak, you know? Like speak clearly, like I was saying, concisely, articulately, and deliver the message in a way that feels like, and the instruction in a way that feels like inspiring and loved, but also like not harsh. I like someone to feel, I like feeling like I'm being pushed. Direct. I like feeling like I'm being pushed, not babied, pushed, but also loved. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's a hard thing to sort of find, but the people that I admire, that I work under, have that. Yeah. They're always a sense of like fire, but heart. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's never fun to work under someone that just is unpleasant. No thanks. Never, not even interested. Like, it's not worth it. We already work in such a hard field that it's like, if I'm not enjoying this even minimally, I don't care what the credit is, you know? Like, that's just where I am. Many people would argue that, but I'm like, it's not worth it. I don't want to hate dance because I don't like anyone around me. Yeah. So I always want to be someone that people can look up to, first and foremost, as someone who just like cares about what they're doing and cares about the people around them, you know? Absolutely.
I mean, to touch on some of the points that you just spoke on, you are one of the most articulate human beings in terms of how you're expressing yourself and how you are giving instruction to a room. It's always, to me personally, it's always just been super clear, super to the point, very much caring, and not only caring about your work and the way that you are explaining your work, but also caring about the human that you are delivering the message to. Yeah. And that creates just a completely different experience. Yeah. Also, to your point on working in environments where people don't have that, that's actually been a topic that's come up literally in every single episode so far. Yeah. Just people talking about how horrible it is to work in environments where you don't feel like you're being appreciated and you don't feel like that safety for yourself. Yeah. And then that's just like something that's incredibly important. With all of these things, there's so much of this that applies to education and to teaching. Yeah. You are faculty on West Coast Dance Explosion,
Yeah.
which is like the convention realm.
Yeah.
But you are also an instructor at Movement Lifestyle, and you also teach at the studio level, and you teach on you also have taught at Chapman University at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
How do you kind of approach leading the room and teaching in all of these diverse spaces?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, I always want to have a foundation of love. I know that sounds so like, but like, I don't need to be coddled, and I don't want to coddle, especially like when we're trying to get stuff done. Like, the last thing I remember to do, probably in all of us, is like, be like, that was so amazing. Can you try? Like, that's sometimes not realistic and sometimes not even effective as the person doing. But it's so easy every single time a session ends, if anything, to be like, you guys, today was insanely stressful. I appreciate everyone being so aware. I just want to say, first and foremost, I'm sorry if I ever felt this way. Or not even that. It could just be like, whoa, that was crazy. You guys, I just want to say before we leave, I appreciate your time and energy so much. Thank you for being here. That goes a long way. You know, so when I say a foundation of love, I'm like, even in the most minimal capacity, to let everyone know, you know, we appreciate each other being here. We understand what sort of things we're demanding of our body and that it's hard. So we just want to say thank you, you know?
Absolutely.
So like, that's what I mean when I say a foundation of love in any sort of setting. It's like, yes, let's work hard. Let's like really demand things of each other, of ourselves and of the room, but let's do it with a sense of love, because if we don't have that, then what's the point, you know? So at least that's for me.
Yeah.
The other side of things that I always want people to take away from how I approach training is like an equal emphasis on like brain and body. I think it's such a big deal. It's like the craft is so much more demanding than just doing an 8 count. We have to be able to do that, and that is insanely important. But in my head, like I was saying before, so is also like the critical thought, or so is also the problem solving, you know, if like, hey, even discussing traffic patterns, like just solve it yourself. If the choreographer director is like doing something, like being able to talk with each other is huge. Describe what you're feeling, say what the issue is, be a person that can be a problem solver. But all of that takes awareness of this, not just this. So and that doesn't just come from like turning it on. Like I really think you have to practice that.
Yeah.
So that's what I like in class. Like, you remember in Chapman, it's like always I ask questions to hopefully get people to be able to respond and just practice what it feels like translating the feeling here to here. And that process is not easy. It's so hard to talk clearly and concisely about things that are nonverbal. And dance is very much nonverbal. So, again, foundation of love, equal emphasis, and training of the brain and the body together.
Yeah. Even, I'm glad you brought up your experience teaching at Chapman. I feel like in my experience that I've had with many instructors throughout the years, something that really, really resonated with me from taking your class, and as well as many of my classmates, because this was a constant conversation we were having throughout that time period that we were learning from you, but just the approach to instruction and the way that you were verbalizing it was super. I was able to take that in very easily, especially because it never felt negative in any way, as opposed to being like, no, do this. It was very much I appreciate where you're at. How about approaching it this way? Do you feel like this might provide you these new areas and new... Like
encouragement over...
Exactly.
Like, oh, yeah.
And we just really... I remember even just like going back to our dorms or wherever and just talking about that for so long, because we were like, I love how he's like, love that. How about you try this and see what that feels like? Not like try this instead because it's better.
Yeah.
And a more of like exploration foundation, and very much I can see that like foundation of love, even though we're not at all like coddling any of us or being like, oh, like that was cute, like you know, it wasn't that at all. It was very much a encouragement to explore different avenues, which really allowed for a healthy approach on our end of really trying these new experiences.
I think that I like when you say that, I'm like, I'm so glad that you took that away. And then I'm also like, it's so good for us to remember that every single venue and the ways that we're working are going to be different, because sometimes like instruction with like exploration is not appropriate for a specific style or series of movement. If we're doing something for a video that's like a super tight shot and it's all about the hands, like, you know what I mean? Like being able to be like, no, it's this, is such an important skill set too. But you know, so like it really just depends on where you are, and that's why I want to kind of be a chameleon as a director instructor too, is because like sometimes an approach is specific for this environment and sometimes it's for this one. Like when I see you guys all the time and we're more in a workshop setting in a college environment, exploration is going to be way more effective for the most part. Some days I feel like we were like, oh no, let's do exactly as it is. You know what I mean? But it's like be able to change and fluctuate, because like what we do requires so many different mindsets. Yeah, for sure. But it's cool that we're taking that away, because I like that environment also. So I feel like I try to infuse that into what we do. Yeah. With
your vast experience as an educator, what has been one of your favorite moments within your education journey so far?
There's something that's sticking out so vividly in my head right now, and especially in convention, and most of us know convention, but if you're not familiar, dance convention is a very specific event that takes place. There are many companies that do it, and they tour around the United States, Mexico. I mean, every country probably has their own circuit, but the United States in particular has like a plethora of conventions, and they're essentially just traveling workshops, and you know, 200 to 700 to 1,300 kids can be in one room at one time. So you encounter a lot of different people, but it's such a specific environment because classes sometimes are 45 minutes. So if you're teaching 700 students for 45 minutes, the chances of personally connecting, it's really hard, you know. But a lot of times students will come up after. And I remember this one student came up after, and she must have been like 15. And she was probably like respectfully maybe at a lower level relative to the whole group. And but had this like just this radiance about her and this excitement about what she was learning, which she came up to me and she was like, and do I think I am the most successful? Absolutely not. I feel like I haven't reached my full potential as a creator and a dancer still. So all of this, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But she came up to me and she's like, you know, do you think that I can really do this and make this happen? I was like, 4,000% yes. And I'm bringing this story up because I was like, oh yeah, sometimes we think at age 16, if we're not, or even 14, or even in your 20s or 30s, if you're not like the person that's constantly being, you know, awarded first place or getting all these jobs, or you're not like at the level of everyone else around you, that you're not going to be able to do it. And I'm like, you fully can. There's so many amazing dancers out there that don't work all these jobs. Like in my head, you don't have to be, and not every dancer working is the best in the room. You know, obviously there's something really divine about like timing, but also like a lot of different skill sets that I think are important when it comes to being a working dancer. Yes, your physicality, but like we talked about here, there's so many different things that go into it. And also you change so much in a year, you know, and you're 15. Like if I look at videos of me when I was 15, it's crazy. You would have think that I would go nowhere as a dancer, and I'm being completely serious. Like I was atrocious, you know. But it's like that's fine. There's so much time. I'm 38 this year, and I still know that there's a lot of room for me to grow. Yeah, you know. So that was one of my favorite moments in time, because I really felt genuine. I was so serious about that, where I was like, yeah, you 100% can do this. Yeah. You know? And I know it's more so than being like, if you want it, you can have it. A lot more goes into it. Yeah. But it's like, the reality is, yeah, in 2 years, you could be a completely different person, a completely different mover. So like your dreams, like I don't know if this is a quote that just came into my head, but it's like, really, they don't expire. You know, like some people bloom at so many different times. And then what is bloom for you? What is success for you? Like, you know, what do you really want to achieve? But there's space for all of us. Like there's so many, and if you don't see it, make it. Like for Entity, we didn't see something that really fit the mold of what we wanted to do, so we made it. You know, not that it was easy, but there's so many people looking to do cool things here, especially in Southern California. Like there's room for everyone, and you can do it. So that was just really cool for me too, because I was like, was she someone that I called out to a group or someone that stuck out to me in class? No, but at the same time, I really wholeheartedly was like, yeah, you can do this. In 10 years, you could be hiring me as the choreographer on something you're directing.
Absolutely.
That stuff happens. It really happens. You know, students have already hired me, which is crazy.
That's insane.
It happens. It really happens. So, I think that was one of my favorite moments.
With your choreographic journey, you were mentioning before, well, both choreographic and as an instructor, you were mentioning there's so much more to grow still. You have so much to look forward to. What do you foresee for your career and your creative process in the future, whether it be near future, far future? How do you foresee that shifting? What are areas that you want to explore still?
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna try to do right now, because like I said in the very beginning, I was never someone that was like, oh, this is what I want to do, and I was way more so like, well, I'm just gonna go wherever this takes me. Now I'm gonna try to be more deliberate, and I felt that in my body. So I really want to create more consistently in the commercial world. I want to be able to have a creative hand in this world, whether it be through choreography or through direction. So the small couple opportunities that I've gotten in that venue, I want to further those, expand myself, have a mark of my voice on this community. That's something I really, really, really want to do. So I'm currently, to get there, just like trying to create my own visuals, things that you've been a part of, do artist submissions, and just practice. Because like I said before, I have zero control over when this opportunity will come, and honestly, if it ever does, right? It's all about timing and being ready. But I want to, when that moment comes up, that an artist sees something that they like that I do, or a management or a director, and they go, I love what this person's doing, let's get them in here. I want to be ready when that moment comes in. So I just want to constantly practice. So I have to invest my time, my money into creating visuals that I see would work in these sort of situations. So I just shot one yesterday, one of like the bigger project that I've been really wanting to do. It just takes time to get money. So yeah, that's what I want to do. And in terms of who, my top, Rosalia is my favorite artist ever. Rosalia, maybe she can watch this with us. She's like, to me, like one of the most influential sounds, and someone that I admire in terms of work ethic and real fusion. Like we talked about fusion with what we do and what Entity does. Like her just hodgepodge, sort of like a culmination of all these different sounds and genres, is something I so vividly love and want to be a part of. So those are my goals.
Period.
Yeah.
Let's see by 40 where we get.
Yeah.
For you specifically today, live on the podcast. So we are manifesting commercial work and avenues and opportunities coming your way. We're manifesting Rosalia giving you a phone call sometime soon. Any other artists that you feel like?
Honestly, anyone who's down. Rosalia,
anyone.
Yeah, Rosalia, Janae Aiko are two of like maybe the most influential musicians.
Yeah.
But let's work together. I'm down. Whoever, let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead and look into that camera for me and tell the people where they can find you, what you have coming up?
Yeah.
Entity, does Entity have anything coming up? Let them know.
You can find me on Instagram. I don't have a TikTok, But you can find me on Instagram at Will Ernston. Let's not talk about it. I made it in 8th grade. Will Ernston. That's the Instagram. WILLEARNSTON. Entity Contemporary Dance on Instagram. We don't have anything that's open right now coming up. Our intensives are closed. New York actually is still open. If I know WAD is worldwide, I will be in Hong Kong and Tokyo in August teaching workshops and setting work. And yeah, just keep up with us on Instagram. We always post what we're doing. Company class every week at T Millie. I'm over there at ML. Come train. You do not have to be a contemporary dancer to train with us. As you heard before, we love everything and honor everything. You're amazing at this. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it so much.
I'm so grateful for you just taking the time to come on here and sit down and have a conversation with me, especially after everything that we've been through in terms of me learning from you and getting to keep running into each other throughout the years every couple months. Yeah. Also, super grateful to have been a part of some projects that you've led before, that was
superstar. Come on.
The superstar. Yeah. But overall, just again, thank you so much for coming, and make sure you go see all of his content, watch all the concept videos. They're incredible. Go hire him as a dancer, choreographer, instructor, director.
Let's go.
And so on and so forth. Make sure you tune into the next episode of Inside HQ. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Thank you.